Hivin and Vibin with Dr. Bibi.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Hivin and Vibin with Dr. Bibi. And how have you all been doing? We have been doing very well here. In fact, we have a fantastic gentleman here with us today. His name is Michael Leonard. Michael Leonard is a U.S. Army veteran and a former combat pilot who served in Vietnam and Desert Shield or Storm. After a demanding civilian aviation career, he discovered his true mission. He has not got rid of his missions, I think. He still continues with missions, and that is helping families, entrepreneurs, and small business owners gain affordable access to justice through Legal Shield. Known as the Bruce Lee of Legal Shield, Michael brings the same discipline, focus, and service mindset from the cockpit to the business arena. Today, he empowers others to protect what matters most and create time and financial freedom. Legal Shield is empowering and protecting you, your family, and your business. Lovely to have you with us, Michael. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. So, Michael, I am very excited to find someone who has worked in the US Army and is a veteran. So, please tell us more about uh, your journey in the Army.
Okay. It's started in 1969. Rather than be drafted, I went and signed up. I'd already had my private pilot's license and was working towards my commercial. And I figured my chances were better in the air than on the ground. So I signed up for the Warrant Officer Flight Program and was accepted for that. And normally I would have become a helicopter pilot, but it just so happened that when I was in what they call snowbird status and getting ready to go to helicopter training, they got everybody together and offered anyone who wanted to, um, say, compete for a slot as a fixed wing pilot could do so. There were only 25 of those for warrant officers. And so I went up and applied for that, and I was lucky enough to get one of those slots. So I went through and I trained and graduated flight school as a fixed wing pilot. I had gotten my multi-engine instrument rating as I went through. Also went through tactics, and I flew a bird dog, which is a high-winged, single-engine tail dragger, spotter aircraft. And so I flew that in Vietnam.
Wow. So, I have a question here, and that is what if you were in the Air Force, then why is it that you say that you were in the US Army? Is it not US Air Force?
Well, actually, the U.S. Air Force was born out of the U.S. Army. During World War II, it was called the um, Army Air Force or Air Corps. That broke off and became its own branch in 1947. Army still has an Air Corps. So they have fixed wing as well as helicopters, mostly helicopters now, but they do have fixed wings as well. And so I was in the Army and I flew in the Army.
Amazing. And how old were you then when you first drafted?
When I enlisted, I was 23 years old.
And how did your family feel about it? Do you come from a army background family or a civilian background family like us, like me at least?
Well, my father was in the Navy in World War II. He commanded an LST in the Pacific, and my mother was an Army nurse in the Philippines. And my mother and father met and married in the Philippines during World War II.
Ah, so you do come from a military, from the army background.
Yeah.
That makes that solves one question of mine, and that is how you found your way into the US Army. So you come from the army family, and you went to the army. You followed the family tradition. Amazing.
Yeah, I followed my mother's tradition because I couldn't figure out the rank in the Navy. So I told my father that's too complicated for me. I'm going to the
All
Army.
right. And when you returned, when the war was over and you were back as a civil person, when did that happen?
Well, right after I was released from tour of duty from Vietnam, I came back to New York State, where my parents still were, and I went to a National Guard meeting one weekend. It was a signal company, and so I thought I'd continue to fly bird dogs or beaver or something, but they had redesignated it a attack helicopter company. So I had a choice. I could either travel 2.5 hours to a Air Force Reserve unit, or I could take a helicopter transition and join that unit. So that's what I elected to do. I took a helicopter transition and started flying helicopters for that unit.
Uh-huh. And so while in service, what were the things that kept you going? What were your thoughts that kept you going?
Well, I was lucky enough to spend most of my military career also as a civilian. So it was 1 weekend a month and 15 days in the summer for my military training. So that was really what got me through it because as much as I love flying, sometimes the military can be a little bit strenuous. Some people love it and thrive on it, and some people, take their time and cut and run. But I said I enjoyed the flying, and I enjoyed the camaraderie, and the fact that I was also felt as though I was doing something important by helping, protect the nation. So um, I stayed in, and so I parlayed my aviation training into a civilian career. I, the civilian job I had, I started out in the personnel office, but they had an aviation department. And I was fortunate after a few years to wind up with a position there. And that's where I stayed for 28 years, doing flying civilian and also continue my flying with the military.
Oh, that's a long time, 28 years. How have you seen the ground work, if you call it the ground work, the civil work, how has it changed over the years?
Actually, it's gotten a lot easier. When I
Oh,
started flying, we had what they call well, the instrumentation and the navigation was started when I started out was pretty primitive, but through the years it became better, uh, better instruments, um, better navigation, more autopilots, more things that made the work in the cockpit a lot easier and a lot safer as well. So,
so what are those guiding principles that you have carried on as a serviceman now into your work at Legal Shield?
well, aviation is very demanding. You have to make your schedules. There's checklists. You have to do things properly. It's important to make sure that the plane is in safe flying order. There's strict rules on on how to fly and how you do it, flight plans and so forth and so on. So that works well in a business sense as well because should do things properly. You should make sure you keep proper records. You should make sure you're disciplined. Um, always be on time. Always say what you're going to do. So that translated very well from the strict adherence in aviation, the military they had, into civilian.
Wow. And what do you think made you become who you are today? What are the things that have actually shaped you to become what you are today?
Well, I've been fortunate to have a drive to always want to learn new things. So while I was working, I was also trying to do things on the side. And so I got into personal development really early in the 1980s. Started reading a lot of personal development books, kept on doing that. So personal development, spiritual development. I learned how to meditate soon after Vietnam, transcendental meditation. And I've been doing that regularly for almost 50 years now. I think next year will be 50 years. And so that's helped calm me and give me stronger insights. I was always interested in the martial arts, so I took that up. I have several degrees of black belt under my belt. I've also been doing that for almost 50 years as well. So all of these things have helped me get to where I am. So I'm always driving and striving to be better, and I'm willing to put in the time and the effort and to do the mundane, consistent things over and over again, which ultimately leads to success.
Mhm. So you meditate. Now we have something very much in common. So what are the practices that you follow while you meditate?
Transcendental meditation is a different form of meditation. Don't know if you or artists are familiar with it, but definitely encourage you to look it up, tm.org. It is something that you just don't read in a book. I actually had a 7-day course where I went through a lot of lectures and then through the puja, learning the mantra, specific mantra that I was given, and then the proper practice on how to do it twice a day. So yeah, it was very interesting. It's been quite a journey. It's something that I do without fail. I definitely need it and definitely look forward to it every day.
Fantastic. Could you give us more information as to what exactly do you do when you meditate? What is the practice that you follow? Like you said, transcendental meditation, which I understand, but maybe my audience or my listeners will not be able to understand that or may not, be amongst those people who have known about it. So if you could share some more on that.
Sure, it's a very simple, easy technique. Just sit down, comfortable position, close your eyes, and very easily start the mantra, and then just go with the flow. And once you start relieving stress, then thoughts come into your head automatically. And so once you realize that, oh, I'm off the mantra, I just very easily go back to it. 20 minutes twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Very simple technique. Very powerful.
Lovely.
They've done over 30 years of clinical studies on it, and it shows that it's a very, very powerful technique. Helps people reduce stress, lower blood pressure, a lot of very good health benefits that go along with the technique.
Totally agree with you. I have been meditating. I come from a Buddhist family, so for us, meditation is part of our practice. So I have actually started meditating since the age of 3. That's the earliest memory I have. And what we do, I was taught through my religion is Vipassana. So that's what I have been doing. But yes, in my research, I did study about transcendental and Zen and other kinds of meditation that comes in.
Mhm.
Fantastic. And so, if what would be the cornerstones of your life? You know, the those experiences that happened that actually made you rethink or reanalyze your next steps.
That's an interesting question because I've never really thought about it that way. It's just as if I've been naturally led to where I am. Um, because I have a strong sense of wanting to do things right, a strong sense of um, wanting to stand up for my principles. So there are times when that might clash with other people, but I stick with that to be true to myself. And so through those avenues in my life, it's led me to this point here. If I had made other decisions, maybe not meditated, I would have been completely somewhere else. Or if I had decided not to pursue an aviation career, it would have led me somewhere else. So all those choices were key choices that have brought me to where I am today.
Right. I hear a very deep person here, a person who has, I find you very, very deep in what you do, very intentional in your choices. But how did you realize that you are a leader? When did that realization come forth?
I don't know if that ever really came as a realization. I remember when I was in organizations in high school. I always seemed to rise to the top. I was always either vice president or a president or a secretary or a treasurer or something, and it always seemed that I ended up in those positions. It just seemed natural that if I join an organization, I'm going to go to the top. I always wanted to be, at the top. In aviation, to be at the top, you want to be a captain. So that's what I strive for, and very soon that's what I became. That's what I did. So
Let's talk about Legal Shield now. What exactly happens at Legal Shield? What do you do?
uh, with Legal Shield, I'm an associate with them. So that means that I have my own business, 1099, and I'm able to speak to individuals, families, and small businesses and just educate them on what is available, how it's possible to actually have a law firm on retainer with a small monthly fee and get a lot of good quality work that if you did not have it, it would cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do, which 10% of the people can afford, but 80% can't. So I joined an
Totally agree.
organization. Legal Shield was actually literally started by accident. Our founder, Harlan Stone Cipher, was in a car accident in 1969. His car was totaled. He was put in the hospital. The woman who caused the accident was ticketed at the scene for having caused the accident. She actually moved into his lane and hit him head on. While he was recovering in the hospital, he was actually served with papers. Her attorney sued him because he looked into his driving record and saw that he had a few speeding tickets and said, had he been going slower, he could have avoided the accident. Frivolous, obviously. Somebody moves into your lane of traffic, how are you supposed to move out of the way and avoid that, right? But again, he was sued, so he had to defend himself. And it wiped out his savings. And so he was a school teacher, but on nights and weekends, he sold insurance. So he had car insurance, health insurance, and God forbid if he needed life insurance. So after he got done with it, he said, there has to be legal insurance so that if this happens to me again, I won't wipe out my savings. He looked in the US, there was nothing. He looked over in Europe, found that there was a plan actually in Germany. If you drive in Germany, you are required to have a legal plan or you cannot drive. So he took that model and brought it to the US. And so that's what has been developed over the last 54 years.
Fantastic. And how do the members come together? I mean, do you have members? Because there's a retainer, which means you work as a member. What is the structure?
Yes, we have memberships. And so on the individual and family plans, there are 3 memberships levels. And then we also have 3 membership levels for small businesses. And so you pick the one that suits you best and gives you the best value. And it's a month-to-month subscription. And you purchase it and you're covered for that month. You pay every month, you're covered every month.
So these different levels that you just spoke about, how do you know who would fall into which level? I mean, is that based on the dollar value or some other factors?
No, on the business end, that is more selective. So it depends on how many debt collection letters you want, how many pages of a contract you might need reviewed every month, or how many contracts you might need reviewed every month. Whether or not you want a preferred discount if you have legal issues, or whether you want to actually have a set number of hours that are already prepaid for you will determine what level you fall into. How many people you want to contact the law firm on behalf of the company would also determine what level you would fall into. On the individual side, it depends on whether you want to have the highest number of hours for your trial defense that you can build up over time. You can build up to 300 hours of prepaid time or 150 hours of prepaid time. It depends on, again, how many pages of a contract you want reviewed, whether or not you would like to have the ability to do a flat payment for a trust and have other estate planning things taken care of for you. So that would determine on what level you fall into.
Uh-huh. How would you describe yourself, Michael?
How would I describe myself? I'm not really big at promoting myself, but I think I'm determined. I'm honest. I like helping people, and I feel that having a mission that is bigger than myself is a driving force. So in both my civilian and military careers, I've had that, and in this, we have this as well. That our mission is out there to let everyone know about these services so that they can have the same protection and ready access to the legal system that right now, due to the high cost of attorneys in the US and Canada, is keeping people from having that. So we say if you can't access your rights, you don't have rights. So this is a way for us to level the playing field and get the normal everyday people like you and me access to top legal consultation without paying an arm and a leg for it.
Totally agree. Legal does cost an arm and a leg. Absolutely. Michael, you have seen at least 3 generations now, because this is now, it is even after the Gen Z. So it's beyond Gen Z now. So you would have seen at least 3 or 4 generations. The reason why I ask is that because I have in you a person who can tell me what is the difference that you see in today's generation and in the generation that you were in.
I think in my generation, I really hate to say this because my generation, part of my generation started off on the wrong foot. And we're reaping some of the, what you call, benefits or results of that right now. And the other half is the half that I ended up in. And that's those that came from a military background or those that came from a family who had a strong sense of a work ethic and passed that on, as opposed to a laissez-faire, more communal, more social, more feel-good type of relationship. I don't know really how to say this without being too politically incorrect these days, but yes. So what I've seen is that there are not a lot of younger people that are really dedicated or really understand the importance of hard work and being able to do something for a long period of time in order to build up the equity and the, how can I say it? The right to gain something. If you don't work for something, then there's no value in it. It's like having a football game and everybody's going to win. That's not a game. Somebody has to lose. One team has to perform better than the other team. Just because you lost doesn't mean that's bad, as long as you learn from it. And one of the things that I have learned, I was always taught that failing is bad. And that's still being taught, but I was fortunate enough to learn that actually you don't learn unless you fail. And this is one of the things I like, love them or hate them, about Musk and the SpaceX. They're out there failing as quickly as they can because they learn from every failure. So they are advancing quicker than anybody before in the space industry. And they're wondering, oh my goodness, how is he doing that? He's so crazy, he keeps blowing things up. No, they're very methodical, very precise, and they learn. They learn a lot from the failures, and the failures bring quick success. I say quick success, it still takes time. So as long as you're willing to put in the time, learn from your mistakes, you're going to be successful. So
What would be the things that your generation could learn from the current generation?
well, I think there's a lot of things that the current generation should be picking up from my generation. But having said that, I think there is a lot to be said for not taking yourself too seriously. It's important to be serious, but not too serious. It's important to work hard, but enjoy what you do, enjoy life, and don't take yourself too seriously. Like I said, as long as you understand that failure doesn't mean you're a total failure, it just means you have a golden opportunity to learn something. Now, if you don't take advantage of that opportunity, shame on you, it's not going to work out very well for you. But if you do, and you take it with the right attitude, oh, wow, I now have a learning experience. What have I learned from this? What can I do better? How can I not do this before? Or how can I do whatever I failed at do better? Then you're going to advance. And that's the name of the game. We always want to uh, advance mentally, spiritually, and physically so that we can have a successful and happy life.
So what I understand is that while this current generation of youngsters can learn about patience, tolerance maybe, and also hard work from your generation. Your generation can learn about letting it go a little, taking life a little uh, easy, not in the sense lazy, but in the sense easy to let go of the seriousness sometimes and be able to enjoy life. This is what I'm getting.
Yes, yes, I think that's it. Exactly.
Michael, how would you like your connections, our connections, to get in touch with you, people who are going to listen to you today or are going to watch this?
Yeah, I'm big primarily on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn. Um, so it's linkedin.com/in/Michael G. Leonard, the number one. And that's all lowercase, all one, all together, no spaces. And I'm also on Facebook, and it's
Okay.
Michael Leonard 298.
Michael, are there any books that you would like this younger generation to read?
I have a lot of books in my repertoire, but there are some things that are absolutely standouts. Um, one of them is The Magic of Thinking Big by Donald J. Schwartz. He's a PhD, written in the 50s, but very applicable today. It's an outstanding book. I first read it in the 80s, and my the team I'm in network marketing in Legal Shield, we have a book of the month, and this was our book of the month last month. And I finally remembered, oh, these are a lot of practices that I've been doing for the last 30 years. And I was wondering where I picked them up from, and that was one of them. The Five Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell has a lot of good leadership books. I highly recommend him as well. Jim Rohn, love Jim Rohn. Anything you can get on Jim Rohn. He's got a lot of free stuff on LinkedIn. Just look him up. He's passed away now, but his teachings are simply, and his philosophy is simply fantastic. Also, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson is a very, very good book.
So this book I haven't read. So
Oh,
this
you
is
need to read that. Oh, you love that book. Yeah, you'll
okay.
like that.
And
Yes.
even the first book that you mentioned, uh, could you repeat the name again?
Yeah, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yeah,
Right.
this one.
Short. Yes, it's
So
very good.
Magic of Thinking Big and the other one.
Yeah.
These two books I definitely need to read. I haven't read them. I'll have to search them up, and I'm sure they will be available in Amazon, definitely. I'll
Oh,
look
yes,
them up, and
absolutely.
I definitely am going to read these books.
Yeah. And if you like
Thank
audio, you can get a lot of them on audio as well.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
Yeah.
nice to know.
And,
Good.
and I use my car. I'm in my car a lot. And when I'm in my car, especially if I'm driving for more than 30 minutes, I flipped one of those. I play one of them, listen to them. Yeah, they're
Mm. I've got
just
into the habit of using Blinkit these days, and Blinkit is an app that gives you a summary of the book that you want to read, and then you can decide if you want to read it deeper. So I do that sometimes, and nowadays all the new books that I get, I that's what I first do. I find it through Blinkit and check it out. And if I find that it's I can spend some more time reading it, then I get into it. So
Oh,
that's what I do.
fantastic. Yeah, definitely check out those books. I
Yeah, I
think you're
will
really
definitely
awesome.
do that. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences. We have had a fantastic time learning more from you, learning so much. I mean, in this little time that I have shared with you, I have learned so much about discipline, about hard work, about persistence. I think, doing things for 30 years at a stretch is amazing. I mean, this is something that if I could incorporate, maybe I would become thinner by now. Going to the gym is something that just doesn't happen with me. But yeah, so this is lovely, lovely, lovely meeting you. We have this kind of wisdom is rare to find, and you have walked the talk. So this is not just wisdom that is theoretical, but wisdom that has come from years of experience. Thank you so much, Michael, for being a part of this show.
And thank you, Dr. Beebe. It's been a pleasure.
Lovely.